Reaching a tipping point globally as confirmed cases close in on 80,000 worldwide. Italy and Iran emerge as new hotspots. Plus, the IMF says the COVID-19 outbreak could put an already fragile global economic pickup at risk, and it is urging global financial leaders to prepare for more adverse scenarios. Our starting point on this Monday morning, South Korea's rapidly expanding COVID-19 outbreak has claimed more lives, and the number of new cases is jumping by the hundreds each day now. For more details, we have our Kim Ji-on on the line for us. Ji-on, the number of COVID-19 related deaths in South Korea tripled on Sunday alone, while the number of confirmed cases continues to rise among groups of people engaged in religious activities.
That's right, Mario. According to Seoul-based Yonhap News Agency, 10 more people from a religious group who traveled to Israel have tested positive for the coronavirus, raising the number of confirmed cases from that group to 28 out of 39 people. Also, Seoul's defense ministry said Monday 4 more soldiers were confirmed, raising the cases among the South Korean military to 11. 3 Army soldiers based in Pocheon and an Army major based in Daegu had all been in contact with other confirmed cases within the military. We're still waiting for the total number of confirmed patients as of Monday, but excluding these new cases, so far the local authorities have said the number of newly confirmed patients increased by 169 in a single day on Sunday, bringing the total in the country to 602. Among those is a 16-month-old girl in Gimpo City, the youngest among the confirmed so far. She's believed to have caught it from her parents who were confirmed with the virus. The total number of deaths due to the virus rose from 2 to 6 people in a single day on Sunday. The third victim was a 41-year-old male who was found dead Friday in his residence in Gyeongju City and was confirmed to have the coronavirus during examination of his body. The fourth and sixth victims were patients at Daenam Hospital in the southeastern city of Cheongdo, where the country's first coronavirus fatality took place, and it's where at least 112 people have been infected. With this, the number of coronavirus-related deaths that were hospitalized patients from the Daenam Hospital has risen to 4. The fifth victim was a 57-year-old female and is known to be a member of the Daegu-based religious group known as Shincheonji. The Korea Centers for Disease Control Central Disaster Headquarters announced they'll delay the start of the new school year for a week from March 2nd to March 9th as a preventative measure. This applies to all kindergarten, elementary, middle, high schools, as well as special needs schools nationwide. Back to you.
Okay, Ji-on, thank you very much for that report. Like Ji-on mentioned, we're still waiting for the updated numbers on this Monday, but as soon as we get them, if we get them during this newscast, we'll bring them straight to you. Now, with the rapidly rising number of confirmed COVID-19 cases here in the country, South Korea has raised its national alert to the highest possible level. At an emergency meeting Sunday, President Moon Jae-in ordered the establishment of a much stronger response system. He also cautioned the public against joining events that bring large groups of people together. Kim Min-ji has this report.
South Korea has raised its COVID-19 alert level to serious following a huge spike in the number of new infections over the past few days. It's the highest level in the country's 4-tier system, and the first time in 11 years that Seoul has raised the alert to serious. During a PAN ministry meeting on Sunday, President Moon Jae-in called for a strong and unprecedented response to contain the virus.
지금부터 며칠이 매우 중요한 고비입니다. 정부와 지자체, 방역 당국과 의료진, 나아가 지역 주민과 전 국민이 혼연일체가 되어 총력 대응해야 하는 중차대한 시점입니다. 위기 경보를 최고 단계인 심각 단계로 올려 대응 체계를 대폭 강화해 나가겠습니다.
The president said that the situation had become utterly different following mass infections involving those linked to a religious group known as Shincheonji. A majority of the confirmed cases in South Korea are linked to the group. Noting that health authorities are taking special steps, Moon expressed hope that once an extensive inspection into thousands of followers is complete, the country will likely see a drop in the number of new cases. The president, meanwhile, called on people to refrain from taking part in group events, including religious activities, saying that it's for the people's safety as the virus can spread easily under such conditions. Moon also requested cooperation by members of 신천지.
종교 활동의 자유를 제약하려는 것이 아니라 지역 주민과 국민들의 생명과 안전을 위한 것입니다. 타인에게 그리고 국민 일반에게 해가 될 수 있는 방식의 집단 행사나 행위를 실내뿐 아니라 옥외에서도 스스로 자제해 주실 것을 당부드립니다.
President Moon also said the government will provide full support to the southeastern city of Daegu and nearby county of Cheongdo amid a growing number of new infections there. It has raised concerns that medical services may become exhausted.
정부는 대구와 경북의 위기를 국가적 위기로 인식하고 어려움을 극복하는 데 국가적 역량을 모아 나가겠습니다. 특별관리지역으로서 모든 지원을 아끼지 않을 것입니다.
While the president noted that the situation was grave, he expressed confidence that the government has the capability to control the spread of the virus. Moon also called on the public to shrug off full-blown fears, adding that together with trust and cooperation, the country will be able to overcome the outbreak. 김민지, 아리랑 뉴스.
6 countries have banned South Koreans from entering their countries in light of the rapid outbreak of COVID-19 here in the country. This includes Israel, which has also advised its nationals to leave South Korea if possible. Lee Seung-jae with the details.
Looking to stop COVID-19 breaking out in their country, the Jordanian government has announced plans to stop South Koreans entering the country. Jordan also took the same step for Chinese and Iranian nationals. A total of 6 countries have now slapped entry bans on South Koreans: Jordan, Israel, Bahrain, Kiribati, Samoa, and American Samoa. Israel has also issued a strong recommendation for its nationals in South Korea to return home. For Israelis planning to visit South Korea, Israel's foreign ministry especially recommends they avoid traveling to Daegu or Gyeongsangbuk-do province, where hundreds of confirmed patients have been reported over the past week. Having already banned any foreign tourists who have traveled to China, from Monday, Israel is banning foreign nationals who have visited South Korea and Japan within the past 2 weeks. Multiple media outlets in Israel have reported on the travel ban, including a piece in the Jerusalem Post, which says its ambassador to China is currently under quarantine as he was on a plane with South Korean tourists during a recent trip to South Korea. Israel's internet news outlet Ynet says Israeli authorities could quarantine about 200 South Korean tourists at military bases near Jerusalem because of fears they could spread the virus. Seoul voiced regret over Israel's abrupt enactment of the entry ban, as Israel on Saturday barred nearly 180 foreigners, including 130 South Koreans aboard a Korean Air flight, from entering the country without any prior notice. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Now, while the number of newly reported confirmed cases of the coronavirus in China has dipped below 1,000 a day, other countries like South Korea are beginning to see big spikes in their numbers. Among the countries hit hardest outside of South Korea, Italy confirmed 132 new cases on Saturday, including 2 deaths. By Sunday, that number had jumped to 157 confirmed cases and 3 deaths. Iran is also having major issues. It has the highest number of deaths outside of mainland China, with 8. With the outbreak in Iran, Iraq has banned Iranians from coming into the country. All flights to Iran from Kuwait have also been called off. A 3-day-long interpellation session begins at South Korea's National Assembly this afternoon, with the number of COVID-19 cases exploding in the nation. Lawmakers are set to grill government officials over their handling of the outbreak. The ruling Democratic Party of Korea is likely to call for a supplementary budget to help contain the spread of the virus. However, opposition parties look set to slam the Moon administration, accusing the government of not acting strongly enough during the initial phase of the outbreak. With the COVID-19 outbreak gripping the world now, 2 industries are being hit especially hard, and they are the tourism and aviation sectors. That's no exception here in South Korea either. On top of that, South Korea's oil refiners are also feeling the heat of this current crisis. Kim Jae-hee reports.
The coronavirus is sending shockwaves through South Korea's tourism industry. Flights are being canceled and the demand for travel has fallen sharply. South Korea's travel industry has seen new bookings fall by a whopping 80 to 90% this month. Travel agencies say the situation is almost as bad as the IMF crisis. Even the biggest travel agencies in South Korea have taken a blow. Korea's 3 largest travel agencies are all going into emergency operating procedures. Hana Tour, South Korea's largest travel agency, said it'll begin implementing a 3-day workweek for 2 months starting in March, with employees taking a 20% pay cut. The second largest agency, Modu Tour, is offering paid leave for up to 2 months, with a maximum of 70% of usual pay starting next month. Employees of the third largest agency, Yellow Balloon Tour, have already begun adopting a 4-day workweek. Airlines are also seeing massive losses in revenue, with flight routes being cut due to concerns over the virus. The shipping industry has been disrupted as well.
Along with the tourism industry, the shipping industry is also suffering because the exchange of goods and parts with China has not been smooth recently.
The drop in demand for aviation and shipping fuel, along with lower oil exports to China, has hurt oil refiners and chemical firms. South Korea's biggest oil refiner, SK Innovation, lowered its first quarter operating profit forecast to 71% of what it had forecast a month earlier. South Korea's third largest refiner, S-Oil, also saw its forecast fall to around 82% of last month's forecast. And for the first time since its foundation, S-Oil decided to carry out voluntary redundancies amid poor performance. Experts say with more coronavirus cases raising uncertainties, more companies may consider carrying out voluntary redundancies. Kim Jae-hee, Arirang News.
The head of the IMF is warning that the COVID-19 epidemic could already be putting the fragile global economic recovery at risk, calling its potential economic ripple effects a real concern. Following a 2-day meeting of G20 finance ministers and central bank governors in Saudi Arabia, Kristalina Georgieva said the projected recovery remains weak. The IMF projects a V-shaped rapid recovery for the global economy, but said, given the uncertainty about the spread of the virus, the IMF head is urging financial leaders to prepare for more adverse scenarios. And staying with that G20 finance ministers meeting, the IMF has also slashed its yearly growth projection for China to 5.6% due to the outbreak. That's 0.4% lower than its earlier forecast. The IMF's managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, said the impact on the world economy would be relatively short-lived if China's economy returns to normal in the second quarter. Big if at this point. But she said the protracted outbreak could lead to more dire scenarios. Now, in other news not related to the coronavirus, as spring edges ever closer here, the South Korean government is bracing for potential wildfires in a bid to keep people and their property safe. Local authorities are now using the latest ICT technologies to prevent blazes more effectively. Jo Sung-min has this report.
2019 was a disastrous year for South Korea in terms of its ability to handle wildfires. There were more than 650 cases of wildfire last year, demolishing more than 3,200 hectares of forests and mountains across the nation. Experts say that's nearly 3 times larger than the average area of land affected annually over the past 10 years. Last year's seemingly abnormal amount has pushed the relevant authorities into increasing their reliance on ICT to detect and fight wildfires. Officials at the Korea Forest Service said they have recently introduced the latest technologies and more proactive measures to prevent the blazes.
We're planning to dispatch hydrant choppers and special teams of firefighters along the East Coast and also set up forest aviation headquarters around the DMZ.
According to statistics, nearly 2/3 of all wildfires that occur each year happen in spring. This year, The risks of wildfire are particularly high because there were more droughts last winter due to less snowfall. Authorities added it has already put more than 10,000 firefighters on standby in the areas deemed most vulnerable. In addition, authorities started operating its Central Forest Fire Control Center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The control center supervises all of the real-time fire operations and shares the information with local governments to proactively handle the fires. Officials vowed to put their utmost effort into minimizing damages inflicted by wildfires this upcoming spring. 조성민, Arirang News.
Now, after dropping their latest album, Map of the Soul 7, late last week, BTS will hold their global album launch press conference this afternoon, Korea time. Instead of holding a normal press conference in Central Seoul, as was the original plan, the boy band will broadcast it live on YouTube instead, so large groups of people don't have to gather together amid the COVID-19 outbreak. This YouTube live broadcast will start at 1:45 p.m. Korea time. So set your alarms if you're a fan of the boy band. The band's new album has topped the iTunes album charts in 91 countries and regions, with the album's lead song hitting #1 in 83 countries. Time now for our Life and Info segment, where we focus on information that we do hope will be useful in your everyday life. Now, Seoul City says it's going to create 1,700 temporary public jobs for vulnerable citizens and workers in sectors affected by the coronavirus, according to the Seoul Metropolitan Government. On Monday, it will recruit job seekers for 1,300 new public work positions, such as helping with quarantine measures, as well as 300 culture and tourism jobs and 100 small business jobs. The jobs will last from March 11th to August 30th, and the pay will be $43 for a 6-hour workday. Applications will be accepted at local administrative offices, Seoul's Tourism Policy Division Office and Seoul Botanic Park until March 6th. Now, modern apartments here in South Korea come equipped with evacuation facilities to use in case of an emergency. But because many people do not know how to use them properly, fire services are urging residents to familiarize themselves with the equipment in the rare and hopefully a case that never happens. But if it does, they'll have to use them potentially in a life or death scenario. Park Se-young with more.
Apartment blocks built in Korea after the year 2005 are required to have evacuation facilities. This lightweight partition even allows residents to escape into next door if necessary. And since the drywall is thin, anyone can break it without too much difficulty. Evacuation spaces with fire doors such as these can be used to buy time until rescuers arrive. Recently, there has been a rise in the number of evacuation ladders that allow residents to escape. And while these facilities can be helpful in emergency situations, many residents tend to use them for storage, blocking the emergency partitions.
Since the legal renovations of these facilities are not subject to punishment under the current law, it's important for residents to have safety awareness.
Since emergency situations happen without prior notice, checking for shelters and learning how to evacuate in advance could help save lives. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, let's begin our look at the world news in the United States. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders won a landslide in the Nevada caucuses over the weekend. For more on this and other news from around the world, let's turn to our Yoon Jong-min. Jong-min, it seems Bernie Sanders has taken a real commanding lead in the Democratic race to take on President Trump in the U.S. presidential election in November.
Well, that's right, Mark. As you said, Sanders won big in Nevada. He solidified his status as a leading Democratic candidate, taking about 47% of votes so far. He did well across all the demographic groups, including Latinos and young voters. Hispanics and Latinos make up a large portion of Nevada's population. Former Vice President Joe Biden sank to 5th in New Hampshire, but he climbed to 2nd in Nevada with some 20% support. Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg came in 3rd with about 13%. Elizabeth Warren was 4th and Amy Klobuchar 5th. With Super Tuesday just around the corner, Democrats are now heading to the South Carolina primary this Saturday. South Carolina also has a large number of non-white voters, with about 27% of the population being African American. The results there are likely to affect Super Tuesday on March 3rd, where 14 states are going to allocate 1,357 delegates on a single day. Another strong earthquake has hit the border between Turkey and Iran some 10 hours after the first powerful quake over the weekend. The European Mediterranean Seismological Center said the magnitude 5.8 earthquake struck the Turkey-Iran border region on Sunday. The center says the quake struck at a depth of some 2 kilometers. Several hours earlier, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hit Turkey near the border with Iran, killing at least 9 people and injuring more than 30 in Turkey. More than 70 people were also injured in Iran. The festive atmosphere is on full display in Brazil, with its annual carnival kicking off in Rio de Janeiro. On Friday, elite samba schools in Rio paraded through the Samba Drum Parade area in a dazzling display. Every year, hundreds of street bands and millions of people join the world-famous party in Rio's Samba Drum. The carnival runs until February 26th.
Good morning. The chilly morning temperatures will turn mild by the afternoon, so we'll see the wide gaps between lows and highs in most parts of the country, while readings will hover way above the season norms. But don't forget an umbrella. Rain is in the forecast nationwide from this evening. Rain will start from Jeollado province and will gradually spread to rest of the country overnight. In central and eastern coastal regions, we'll see 20 to 60 millimeters, possibly up to 80 millimeters for some areas, while mountainous regions in Gangwon-do province will see snow early tomorrow. And this afternoon, most regions will see double-digit afternoon highs, Seoul getting up to 13 degrees, Gyeongju topping out at 19 degrees Celsius this afternoon, and skies will get gloomier as the day goes on today. It's going to rain all day tomorrow, but readings will remain on the mild side for the next few days. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
Well, that's all the news and weather we have for now on this Monday morning here in Seoul, South Korea. Stay tuned to Arirang TV, and a reminder that our next newscast is coming up at noon Korea time. So until then, goodbye.
Following the Inter-Korean Summit and the North Korea-US Summit, a journey towards peace on the Korean Peninsula has become inevitable. All parties will work hard to build peace and search for a winning solution.
I can tell you that
Peace and Prosperity will explore different paths to find these resolutions, with a special emphasis on the expected role of Seoul. Peace and Prosperity. Better Together is a documentary series that aims to show a more diverse and deeper side of Korea. The program demonstrates that nothing is impossible when people join hands for a good cause. Each episode reveals how Korea shares its expertise in economic policies, technologies, energy, science, and public diplomacy with other countries. Better Together. 2020 will be a big year for international diplomacy in Korea, and there are profound exchanges happening between different nations every day. With a focus on cooperation and exchange, the show seeks to reinforce relationships between Korea and the world. Join us as we connect with foreign ambassadors to better understand Korean politics, economy, culture, and more. The Diplomat.